Slay the Spire run where I talk about what I'm doing. As I enjoyed making the last one, and seems like I probably still have more to learn. I'm trying slightly different encoding settings this time, so this will be another experiment in video production as well. I'm going to do the same thing I did last time of Ascension 12 Ironclad, going for a hard kill. Because last time I didn't do the boss swap, which is the boss swap from Niao at the beginning, which is what I'm trying to do in each run where I increase the ascension level. I actually have played one round of Slay the Spire between now and then where I was doing the same thing, and I did do a boss swap then. Unfortunately, I was like a fool, forgot to get the red key before getting to the end, so it didn't count because it wasn't a hard kill. I could probably cut myself some slack in advance, but I figure I might as well give it a try, one more try. Ugh. Ectoplasm is a pain to pick up because it means I don't have any gold, but on the other hand, Ironclad works really well with 4 energy, so I think on balance that's still a significant improvement over the starting relic. Oddly, ectoplasm means that we probably want to go to a store quite early on because we're going to want to spend the gold at some point, and not getting any of it stolen is good because you can't get it back from the thieves if you have ectoplasm, because what happens is your gold goes down and then you get the gold back as reclaimed gold. And also there are events that can take your gold and stuff. So going to one of these 2 stores is pretty solid as a plan. It doesn't seem like the worst idea to try to do this 3 elite path here with the burning elite. We've got an out most way, or we've got an out after the burning elite, and we've got a fireplace right before the burning elite. So I think a pretty strong plan would be to go up this way. So I think I'm going to do that. Some argument for taking the 4 damage and trying to kill this, but I don't think it would be a good argument. Easy enough. What we really want at this point is none of these and to get an attack, but who are we fighting in the end? We're fighting Slime Boss, so Second Wind is pretty good. I mean, Second Wind's generally pretty good. If we're fighting Sentries, it's good because it'll have the dazes to exhaust. And if we do any sort of status nonsense with our deck, it's a good card. I think I will take a Second Wind, despite it probably not being the best choice. I mean, it is the best choice of what was available, but like other than possibly skipping. Fire breathing is a nice to have given Slime Boss. Some argument for doing a strike remove, but like I mean, maybe strike remove is the right call. I think it's not though. I think blood for blood thunderclap is probably the best thing to do here. Blood for blood essentially because we just need some heavy hitting damage, and we can play it earlier potentially given the 4 energy we've got. So I think this blood for blood's very good, and we should take it. Thunderclap partly is just an attempt to use up gold, and partly it's nice because it will strip artifact charges from the sentries and just gives us a nice cheap way of applying vulnerable. We don't actually need that quite as much with the 4th energy because we've got bash, but it's still nice to have. So I think it's either Thunderclap or nothing, and nothing would either waste the gold or maybe use it on a cleric event. I'm going to take the Thunderclap. I'm not sure if that's the right call, but I feel like I'm overthinking this at this point. Do we want to clear out this hand so that we can just really aggressively kill it? I think it doesn't really matter. I think we're going to kill it on the first run through the deck. Arguable case for cleave. Area of effect damage is good with slime boss who we'll be facing. I think I'll take 1 cleave. None of this does anything because we have ectoplasm. Dual wield is nice, particularly with that blood for blood in our deck. We can dual wield it once it becomes 0 cost. I'm generally a big fan of dual wield. I will take it. Now we fight our first elite. That is not the hand we wanted to start with. And that is not the hand we wanted to continue with. So the question is basically how much vulnerable do we want to apply? If we apply 1 and then this, that would be plus 50% for this, so that's 27, 31, leaving it with 26 hit points, which we probably cannot reliably clear without vulnerable next turn. So I think the correct thing to do might be to avoid this currently very expensive blood for blood and just apply a lot of vulnerable and a reasonable amount of damage. It's got slightly more hit points than it would the other way around, but I think playing the second wind is the right call because it will be enough to mostly block, and we will kill it next turn. Or entirely block. I was thinking it was gains three strength, but I think that's an Ascension 20 thing. I may also just have that entirely wrong. Ooh. The question here is basically, like, I think all of these I could make a good argument for taking. If we didn't have that blood for blood, the bludgeon would be a very good card. As it is, I think it's still a good card. Pummel Strike is okay as is, but with an upgrade is very nice. Seeing Red, I don't think we need. I think that there will be, I mean, ironically, we might need the Seeing Red if we had the Bludgeon and the Pummel Strike. I think I will take the Bludgeon, largely so that I can try and split the slime boss as quickly as possible. That may not be solid reasoning, I'm not sure. We've got a rest here with the Burning Lake coming up. So I guess these are... This was the Burning Elite, right? Yeah. I'm not sure what they have that makes them burning. I guess logically by process of exclusion they must have max HP, but I'm just failing to remember what the max HP of the sentries is normally. But let's strip artifact charges and then half block. The thing with sentries is basically you want to get them down to 2 sentries as fast as possible. And do I need to do that? Yeah, I think I need to do that. And once they're down to only the 2 sentries, which should be like the middle one and one of the others, things aren't too bad. So they only deal you 10 per turn and only put 2 dazes in your deck per turn, while the other way around they... Oh, I should probably have attacked the front sentry on the off chance I could kill it next turn but not block fully. But fortunately I can block fully. Can I kill it this turn? That is 18, 24, 30. Yes, I can kill it this turn. We're sort of seeing how much Ironclad likes the 4 energy here. What's coming up next? Okay, so next turn I will have a bludgeon. So as long as I can get it down to down to 32 or below instead next turn. Which I could, and it is. Girialis is again strength, which is interesting but not that exciting. Because right now we are a high attack value deck with like most of our damage coming from bludgeon and blood for blood. Like it's not exciting. Strength is nice, but it's not the thing we need. Searing Blow is much better than I used to think because the amount it goes up by each time you upgrade it also goes up. So it scales like quadratically with the number of upgrades. So if you combine it with armaments, which I don't currently have, then it can be a very powerful card. Where I think if you imagine it scaling linearly, you're not really getting your value out of it. But that's not what it does. But I think double tap is probably the correct thing to do here because like double tap bludgeon is just a lot of damage for 1 extra energy. So we are aiming to take on that elite, right? Can we do this without dying? Let's say yes. I often play the first act slightly more aggressively than strictly makes sense because I'm not actually optimizing for win rate right now. I'm sort of optimizing for actually getting a win. And so things that cause me to die early are lower cost, effectively. Particularly if the alternative is that the words. Yeah, so things that sort of risk me dying early at the like benefit that if I succeed, if I don't die, I'm much stronger later, are very much worth it in the first act, I think. I may eat my words when I walk into this elite fight and die, but we'll see. block partially. This is the thief fight that I said that we wanted to get our money spent earlier. Because with our lack of money, it literally doesn't matter if we kill this thing. We are going to kill this thing, and we are going to kill this thing in vengeance for the many gold that they have stolen from us in the past. But Combust is really nice with Blood for Blood because it means that Blood for Blood's cost will guaranteed go down to 0 after only a couple of turns. And combining that with our dual wield, it just ends up being very nice. So I think I'm going to take Combust. I'm aware that it's weird that it doing damage to me is a feature rather than something I want to avoid, but actually I think that this is often how it ends up in Ironclad. Okay, so we can only block for 5. So the real way we block this turn is by killing an enemy. It makes much more sense to kill the Slaver, which attacks more aggressively and does nastier things, which we can do by double tap bludgeon. So we are going to do it by double tap bludgeon. Can we kill this? I think we might be able to kill this because we can Thunderclap and then we can Blood for Blood, which would be 27, 31. Yep. Entropic Brew is nice. I think for the reasons I discussed earlier, I don't care that much about strength. I do care about weak, particularly given that HP. So I think we'll take Entropic Brew. True Grit is a nice card to have one of if it's upgraded, I think. So it's not upgraded right now, of course, but it's still not bad. It's the random effect isn't too onerous. Some argument for Infernal Blade. It's sort of high variance, but has nice potential for, and in particular, the first time you play it, it can be a very high cost attack. But I think I will go for a True Grit, particularly given the low HP right now and the fact that I want to kill an elite. So we're just going to start with Combust because we'll, as mentioned, get the Blood for Blood down. We're going to let it sleep for... This is exactly the thing that happened to me the last run too. A thing I suggested in my newsletter post about this is that I should start a notepad of things not to forget. Sorry for that loud noise. Ignore that. Just knocking a fruit bowl off the table if you care. So yeah, notepad. My notepad now says Combust plus Centennial. What did Centennial Puzzle lose me? Yeah, Bludgeon Double Tap was something I very much wanted to get out. But I guess what will happen is we will, next turn, probably get either a Bash or a Blood for Blood. See what happens. Start the run. I'm going to True Grit here because I think essentially we want this deck to be reasonably fast in making its way through. And so lowering the number of cards in our deck isn't a bad call. I think if I attack it now, does it wake up one turn earlier? I actually always forget how that works. Not going to worry about it. I think I will dual wield this Blood for Blood, and I will wake it up now. So, bash, and hope it doesn't hit second wind. It hit second wind. Oh well. Worse things could happen. What I really should have done was applied the sweet potion to it earlier, because I'm probably dead now. Unless I can kill it this turn. Let's see what this Entropic Brew is. Okay, so I can almost certainly kill it this turn. So this will currently do 10 per. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think if I double tap Blood for Blood, oh yeah, anything kills it now. I actually didn't even need to use that attack potion. That was stupid of me. Ooh, hello. Dead Branch is a very interesting relic because it means that every time you exhaust a card, you get a random replacement card in your hand. And Ironclad loves exhausting cards. We could do Wild Strike. We're not perfectly set up for doing status nonsense yet, but once we are, worth bearing in mind, we will not be able to get a med kit because that requires money. But we can exhaust these with True Grit, with Second Wind. There's also just a nice amount of damage. I think I could talk myself into taking a Wild Strike. I don't think the others were worth taking. I think that the deck doesn't need more block right now. Having said that, I forgot that I was about to die if I didn't get more block right now, so that's interesting. Let's do this. So I need to get it down to 34 if it's to split, which I cannot do this turn. This will take it down to 11, so we'll be down to 36. Which means, and honestly, I don't really want the combust because I don't think I have. Essentially, I don't want to take the damage. I obviously want to play those. The question is basically combust or strike before I So I'm going to be blocking for 17. I think strike and exhaust the combust, I think. I forgot that would happen. It would have been nice if I'm going to add Dead Branch to my list of things not to forget. If I had exhausted first and got this, then I would have been able to full walk, but like 1 HP is not the end of the world. And gets me that. So I think the thing to do here is to double tap Blood for Blood, because whatever I do to attack it is going to cause it to split. And that gets hit the most damage by far. It doesn't matter because I can play both. Rupture goes well with the... This is looking really similar to the last run, isn't it? I swear I don't always play Ironclad this way. Rupture goes well with the Combust, and I think some argument for Sever Soul. Don't have the strength for Sword Boomerang without that Rupture. Like, I don't need the Rupture, because as mentioned, strength isn't that big a deal for me right now, but like strength is never bad, and given that I'm already playing the Combust, might as well. Ugh. I almost never take this option, but I'm sort of tempted to take this option. It's a coward's way out, but I don't know that I can kill these. If I had like even twice this, but just like one, a bad turn one would instantly kill me here. So I think I am going to take the cowardly option and get a parasite. So now there's a question of whether I can take this without healing. I would love to upgrade this dual wield. Wouldn't mind upgrading the rupture, but that's less necessary. I think so. I basically I have 3 turns in which to try and bludgeon slime boss, which is not quite. I'm not just bludgeon; it's not quite enough. But and then each of the splits can do 18 damage to me easily, which I don't know. I think I can take it. I think let's give this a go. It's reckless, but oh, I have pentagraph. That was absolutely the right call. It's just that I had forgotten that it was the right call because I had forgotten that I was going to be healing as soon as I walked into the fight. I'm glad for my very clever decision. That was definitely well thought out and planned, as you could tell from me describing it in advance. Well, that sucks. It is not the best split in that, it is almost, in fact, the worst split you could get there. But there is a difference between the two slimes. I think this one is more aggressive, and this one, I don't know. I could look it up, but I'm lazy and I'm not going to. But guess who just forgot about the combust centennial puzzle interaction again? Did you guess me? Yes. How about neither of? Okay. At least that splits the front one. That was not a well thought out turn, and I could have done it much better than I did. Let's see what this exhausts to. Interesting. Not useful, but interesting. I think. Oh yeah, I forgot I was getting strength from the rupture. That upgraded dual wield clearly pulling its weight, huh? Whatever, that went fine in the end. Reaper is a great card, particularly now we've got our like weird combust, rupture, DIY, demon form. I'll just take Reaper. It very rarely feels like the wrong choice to play take Reaper. If we wanted to continue the absurd similarity of this run to the last one, I could take Velvet Choker again. I will need to write down, don't forget Velvet Choker on my notepad. But like, I don't think I fixed a seed. I don't think this is the same run as last time. I'll take a look at the video and make sure that the seed in the top right isn't the same. But I cannot imagine and what I would have. No, because like the one I played in between was totally different from this. It's just like feeling eerily similar. Anyway, I'm going to take Choker because I'm not taking Broken Town and Broken Crown. There was an argument to take Tiny House there, actually, but 5 energy sounds really nice, and Tiny House is better than skipping. So we've got a Burning Elite done already. We could go for another 3 Elite path. That sort of worked out for us okay last time. If we go up this way, we don't want the store. Yeah, go up this way, we would have a fireplace and 1 event before the Elite. Don't want that store. So go up this way. Yeah, that looks good. Let's do that. Okay, now I'm not going to play Combust because that will trigger Centennial Puzzle. And I would like to avoid triggering Centennial Puzzle prematurely. See, I can remember things eventually. That is within my capabilities. The annoying thing is that this means that if I want to block Trigger, it will exhaust it, but that's okay. Hemokinesis is another nice card for the Rupture interaction. You cannot see me right now, but I'm hanging my head in shame. Because literally just after I said I wasn't going to forget the Combust Centennial Puzzle interaction, I played a card that would do me damage and cause me to run out of energy at the same time, leading to the scene you see before you right now, where technically I still have turn left after Centennial Puzzle triggered, but not turn in which I can do anything. I could really lay it on with Thunderclaps right now and just do a lot of vulnerable. I think I'm obviously going to defend. Double tap Thunderclap sounds reasonable. That would do a total of 4 plus 6, 10 damage. So we would at least knock 1 off its shelled armor, plated armor. We would only get 1 more vulnerable if we did dual wield. I think Thunderclap is not good enough that we want to clog up our deck with it. So I think this seems like a reasonable plan. That Reaper would have benefited from being played when I have more strength, but currently that doesn't seem like a thing that's likely to happen anytime soon. And I think we're going to want to exit the fight at our earliest possible convenience because this thing is just kind of nasty. keep drawing that dual wield along with things I really don't want to duplicate. That was useless, but a good clash. We're saved. Okay. I'm a line clash, but... Okay, so what we want to do here first is hemokinesis, because this gives us strength. I think bash, cleave, clash. Doesn't actually matter. We're going to kill it. I would take this uppercut if it were upgraded, but it's not. I don't think I want any of these. I basically always take Face Trader. I'm not sure that's a good choice, but I do. And this is why it's not always a good choice. Starting each combat with 1 week sucks. One of the nice things about recording this is that I will not give in to my temptation to save scum. No, I don't care about you. Theoretically, it's good to check and see what relics that means you're not getting, but in practice I won't remember, so I don't. Oh, and there's that week screwing us over. So I think because of the week on first turn, it's not worth trying to do too much damage right now. So I think what we'll do is we will double tap this to get just more vulnerable than we need in the combat, and then kill it next turn, hopefully. So now Centennial Puzzle has procced, which means that we're perfectly fine to play this Thunderclap. We are also perfectly fine to bludgeon that. And ouch. Yeah. Helpful. Getting some good dead branch value out of that turn. As mentioned, it doesn't actually matter if we kill these things, because we don't get the gold back anyway. Some argument for Rage doesn't play that well with Joker, as we found last time, so I think the argument isn't strong enough. I don't think we need a second Wild Strike. Maybe we don't defend well enough right now, and we have the energy for it. I would take one Shrug It Off. I don't have a Shrug It Off, right? That was a Dead Branch generated thing. Yeah. Yeah, particularly with potential for Parasite and stuff clogging up our hand and the reasonable amount of energy. One Shrug It Off seems good. Avoid the store because it's useless. There is no point to that really, but I think I will exhaust this dual wield, which has really not been doing us as well. That's interesting. I forgot about Dead Branch again. Might as well play it. It doesn't do anything useful this fight. Oh no, it does do something useful this fight because we've got Thingamy. Wild Strike. The thing that's right here in my hand. I think I would like to kill this turn if I can. I think that a double tap on this deals 64 but -3 because of the malleable. So after that it will have 61, and so it'll have 11 hit points and 6 block for 17. So I think we can kill it with this flex potion, and I don't think we can possibly kill it without the flex potion, so I think let's do that. I really hope I haven't miscalculated, because I was very sloppy there. But I have not miscalculated. All is good. We're not nearly upgraded enough, so I'll take those armaments. Right, we're probably just about to die here. I think if we survive this turn, which I can't imagine we do, the way to do it is speed potion second wind and see what Dead Branch gives us. Spot weakness Reaper is potentially a good call. We could headbutt first to knock really block off that, which would give us another 6 HP. But it would also mean it was attacking us for more, and also it would mean that we don't have the one energy to play whatever we get off Reaper. Also, I note we are surviving this turn regardless of what happens now. I think we want to play Brutality. I think Brutality plus Rupture gives us card draw and strength every turn, and that's nice. I think this just upgrades to innate, so there's no point in upgrading it. Is there anything we would want to headbutt back? Spot weakness, arguably, but not really. Second wind, arguably. I think we want the block. I think if we so Blood for Blood kills this turn anyway. This guy, not that guy. But potentially so does anything else we do. I could, for example, Armaments Combust, which is actually not quite enough, which is unfortunate. But I think it's still worth doing. And I think then double tap Cleave. And Wild Strike here. Oof. Okay. Unless we can kill this turn, which I don't believe we can, this is the end of us. So that would be 14 plus 19 is 23, 34, which plus 38 is 42, 72, which is not enough. Yeah, I think this is us done. RIP deck. It was not quite strong enough, or I didn't play it quite well enough. So now you've seen a more typical Slay the Spire run for me, in which I die horribly. Um, it's I am not quite sure what I would have done differently. Um, I think I was possibly a little over optimistic in terms of my ability to kill elites there, and I could have definitely taken on fewer elites this run. Like, where was I? I mean, that was my first elite of this run, so that wasn't even me being greedy. Like, I had to face an elite at some point. That's not actually true. I could have bypassed elites entirely, but I think if I'd done that, I would have just died in the next act. Possibly ditching the combust and the rupture would have been good. It was nice to have that strength for the Reaper in theory, but in practice I didn't quite get it off. A Parasite screwed me over a little bit actually. The deck was just slightly slower than it needed to be. I didn't take that Pummel Strike, and I think if I'd taken it and upgraded it, that would have been good. I literally never got any value from the dual wield, so I don't know to what degree that it was less good in this context than I thought, and to what degree I just got unlucky with my draws. All told, I think it's hard to point and say there's that one big mistake I made. I think I just didn't play this game particularly well, and some of that was bad luck, and some of that was just a series of suboptimal decisions. Oh well, it happens.